Hey guys, Chris here. So I am starting to take apart my Challenger because I didn't realize this, but and they didn't tell me, or they didn't know when I ordered the differential. I ordered the differential, a differential bracket that holds it up and supports the differential, which is a common thing to do at high power levels anyway. And I probably should have done, and I wouldn't probably be in this situation if I had that differential supported like that at that time, but I didn't. So this is, I don't know if anybody that's watching this saw my other video of how much damage you do when you make your car too powerful for the OEM parts without changing them, which I changed a tremendous amount of them. These are GeForce axles. This is the OEM differential and driveshaft, which is what I'm changing now. I did the clutch, I did the whole front and rear end suspension and handling, all the control arms and ball joints and all kinds of stuff, suspension, the coilovers. I did a lot of work. Anyways, I'm taking out the differential right now. I am pulling out the CV axles. I mean, normally this would be a different kind of job, but because the brackets are broken off, you know, you could see over here. Let's see what you can see. The brackets are broken off up here. They just literally snapped, and so the differential, really all it needed was a housing, because this differential is rated for, I think, like 1,000 horse. So it probably would have lasted me a good amount, even with the 426 stroker that I'm putting in it. It probably would have lasted even with that, but it wouldn't have lasted with the supercharger after that. But I'm probably going to put the 426 stroker in, enjoy it naturally aspirated for a little while, and then do that. So I don't think that'll be an immediate thing after I do the motor. But at some point, this all would have had to get done, and now I have to replace 2 boots on brand new axles. I just put these axles on when I did the clutch. I must have put less than 1,000 miles on it. Not must have. I know it was less than 1,000 miles. It's very frustrating, and I was driving pretty aggressively, but with the new axles and clutch, I figured that everything else, I know the Tremec can handle it. The transmission is a Tremec 6060. I know that can handle it, and the differential, but the drive shaft couldn't. And this is what it did to it. Hold on, let's see if I can move this up here. I'm better off just leaving this here and taking the camera out for a second, because this is how you guys are going to be able to see what I'm doing down here. So let me just put that back, and I will take this off so I can show you guys exactly what it actually did. It spun right out of the universal joint. It just like blew out the bolts. I had bearings rolling down the street. There's the end of the drive shaft. Here we go. And all the bearings were like rolling around in the street. It was a mess. I mean, nothing at least fell off of the car when I blew the clutch and the rear axle. I blew one rear axle and the clutch both at the same time, and then now the differential and drive shaft at the same time. I seem to be having them in twos, which I guess, you know, the superstition is that bad things come in threes, right? So I guess at least I didn't have threes. I just had this axle out of there too, but I had to put it back in to get that one all the way out. I'm gonna have to loosen this. I had to put it on a ratchet strap to support it. And I have a transmission jack down there, but the only other way I could do it is if I lower the car, which then I just have to raise it back up. So this was handy. I just figured I would do this. All right, let me see if I can get that thing out now. Obviously, I'm not worried about this differential at this point because there's no saving it. I mean, the internals are good, so if anything happens. Oh, so I ordered a brand new differential and from high horsepower, and this was This car's been in here for almost 2 months, which is the damn shame, because it's 2 months out of the time I could have been driving it, which really pisses me off because I don't get to drive it. You know, this is not a car you can drive in the snow or really even the rain, and I live in Connecticut, so there's a good portion of the year with rain and snow or slush or whatever. They call for 14 inches of snow and you get 14 inches of slush, or whatever the case may be. But I don't get nearly as much time to drive it. It's not like I live in Florida, you know. I don't get to drive it all the time, that's for damn sure. I should have gotten my exhaust out of here before I started doing this, but the exhaust was actually holding this up. So when I started getting the exhaust out, and I realized that those couple of grommets, that if I took them off, the whole differential was going to fall anyway. I had to kind of do them at the same time. So I have to replace 2 boots on these brand new axles, which sucks. Obviously sucks. I'm sure you guys could tell. That's a shitty thing. This whole thing is a shitty thing, but it happens. And I honestly knew I was going to have to do this. I just honestly did not think it was going to have to be at this time. I thought when I put the 426 stroker in here, I'll have to do the differential and drive shaft. I knew I'd have to do both. Oh, there goes my differential oil all over the place. That's great. Well, it's falling in the jack at least. But it didn't want to wait, and probably because I put a full metallic double disc clutch, and that I could feel that as soon as I drove it. That put a lot more power to the road. It really did. That made a big difference. That made a bigger difference than a lot of the other modifications I did. All right, I'm gonna pull this thing out of here. Come on. All right, the exhaust. Want to stay here, but it's not coming with this at the same time, or it thinks it is. And I need a new plug for one of these. One side of the active exhaust. I think I'm actually going to get an active exhaust delete instead. Alright, at least that part's done. So I'm going to take the axle nuts out and I'm going to back out these axles because, well, I actually have to take down some suspension, and I have to do a lot more than I wanted to get, because I have to fix, is this one? Yeah, that one's okay. So I have to fix this inner and that outer. This inner's okay. Okay, so I got to fix one inner, one outer boot. The exhaust I can take into outside of here on the other side, and then I'm gonna take that heat shield down. I'm gonna drop the differential in the middle, and the new differential is all one piece. So I think I'm going to mount the new differential in the front. I think I'm going to take the differential out because there's supposedly exhaust clearance issues. I can't really get too far because the axles, I don't have the boots yet. All I have is the drive shaft, and it's because of Mopar. Oh, I started to say Mopar. I guess they have a lot of people on strike. I didn't know that, and neither did High Horse Performance when I made the order, but I guess it happened in the beginning of October, and I made my order in the beginning of September. But it was supposed to be a 2-week order at the time, so it must have been going on before they found out about it. And I mean, they've been upfront and honest with me. I have no reason to doubt them. They seem to be pretty good guys over there. Summit Racing was horrible. They sent me the wrong parts multiple times. I literally had to drop my transmission twice because of them. For the clutch, I had to take the whole transmission out twice. They were a nightmare. I will never buy anything from Summit Racing again, ever, 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 ever in my life. No way on God's green earth will I ever buy anything from them again. High horse performance, that's my go-to from now on. They've been great, so I recommend them highly. And there's a lot of other automotive places that are good. American Muscle Extreme is okay. I'm not fond of them because their selection is not really great, and they only go to a certain level. Like they don't carry intricate motor parts. They don't carry, like you're not going to get your lifters and your springs and your top ends, or especially not your bottom ends, piston rings, lifters. Your piston lifters, your piston rods. You're not going to get any of that kind of stuff. You're not going to get a camshaft. You're not going to get crankshaft. You're not getting any real motor parts from them. You can get superficial parts, but you can't get any like real parts that are going to, when you're doing big work, which obviously I do big work to this car. I mean, that whole front end is new. This whole rear end is new. The only thing left that's original is, let's see. The only thing left that's original is this part right here and the knuckle. Everything else is new. And the same thing in the front is the one part coming out from here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. There's two control arms in the front. Those are both new. I replaced both control arms in the front, on the bottom, and the uppers. And then I did the coilovers. And this has new shocks, new struts, new end links, new sway bar, new everything. Axle. Now it's going to be differential, drive shaft, and axles. And then the rear rims. These are 315 tires on 11.5-inch wide red eye rims, and those are Nito. What the hell model are these? I'm not sure, but I did the hand cook last time, and I think the hand cook grabbed a little better. These were pretty soft rubber, but these did last longer. The hand cooks, I burnt them out, and well, I was doing a lot of burnouts too, though. That was like the first or second summer I had the car. I've only had it for this is 3 years, I think. So the boot on the other side like this is broken, so I have to get another boot, and then I have to get a new plug like this for either that, or I might delete it. I might, if I can do it without setting off any codes, I'll delete it. I did put high flow catalytic converters. I didn't delete the catalytic converters out of the exhaust, so it's still I mean, it rumbles. It's a great sounding car. So one of these two bolts in the back is completely loose. It's basically, that could come all the way out because I have to drop the subframe in the back either way, because I have a bracket coming that's going to go to these two bolts, as well as it's going to also bolt up into here. And shit, I do have the weld. I was watching some videos on it, and the guy said that some of the newer ones had the weld under here, and I definitely have the weld under there. That sucks, because the tolerances are really tight. It's a machined part, so this is steel, and it's not machined, it's welded. I may have to grind that down and re-weld it myself to get it a nice clean weld. This is a pain in my neck. Anyway, so I have a good amount of work to do, and I'll make several segments of the video so you guys can see progress. I mean, it's not going to really take me that long. Today's Thursday night, and the differential should be here, I would imagine, by Monday, maybe Tuesday at the latest. My birthday's this weekend, so I'm doing this tonight so I can take an early day tomorrow and go home and spend the weekend with my fiance. And then Monday, once all the parts are here, I have to order these axle boots, and I have to order whatever I'm going to do with the active exhaust. If I decide to delete it and get the active exhaust delete, or if I decide to get the Mopar plug or a generic plug that would fit that, whichever way I go. But I have a bracket coming in that's going to have, there's two bolts that go in. Let's see, they go in, yeah, they go in here. So they make these metal pieces that slide in here, and you have to stick it in the middle and line up a bolt to it, and that holds one part of it, and then there's another part that goes straight through here into the differential for these two bolts, which those two bolts I think are just supposed to stay there, to be honest with you. I don't think those bolts are actually supposed to come all the way out. I think you just thread them into the other one. But when I drop the subframe back here, that's this bolt, and then there's a bolt up here. I'm gonna have to disconnect all the stuff going to the wheel, the knuckle. I'm gonna have this. I had to do all this when I put the axles in. It's a pain in the neck, but it is what it is. I gotta lower the car and put a jack up to this and undo those bolts and lower this down. I had to do that for the sway bar, actually. I had to do that for the sway bar, and I had to loosen it a little to make some clearance for the sway bar. I didn't have to take it all. I mean, for the axles, I didn't have to take it all the way out. The sway bar I did. But these parts in the four-wheel independent suspension, the parts in the rear end on the knuckle, those suspension parts are a pain in the ass. I mean, like, this was so hard to get in. That top one was, dude, the top one I had to cut the bolt and put a number 8 bolt in myself, because they put the head of the bolt where you literally you cannot take the bolt out. There's no way to get it out. They had it backed up into the corner. Let me take you out and show you. The original bolts were they were up in here. If you can see, they were, let's see, where are we? Right up in, you see up in there on the other side, like where you cannot get it out. There was just no way to get it out. Obviously I have them in the other way, so I can get it out, but they had it up in there. You can't get it out on either side. You just can't get them out up here. So look, you're trying to get that out, and they have the head of the bolt on the other side. And look up here. How are you going to get that out? It doesn't happen. You can't get it out. So the only thing you can do is cut the bolt and replace it. So I always keep number 8 bolts of all different sizes, usually metric. I keep some standard, but almost all metric, because, you know, there's a lot of times where I have to, you know, drill and tap new holes, and I need to have the right size bolts for the holes I tap, and the right size taps to tap it. So I keep all that stuff on hand, because I do a lot of custom stuff, and when I do it, if, you know, whatever I end up needing, I need to have a strong enough bolt to be able to hold it. Whatever I'm doing, rather, especially on this car, I use 277 red Loctite, not 242, not. I use the strongest Loctite I can get my hands on, because I know I'm the one that's working on it, so I'm gonna know I have to heat it when I take it off. And I've tightened every bolt and Loctited every bolt and torqued them to spec and everything else on this car, so I know when I drive this car and I drive, you know, 130, 140 miles an hour around the connector, doing a pretty good turn, I don't have to worry about anything falling apart and anything that anybody else didn't tighten right. Or, you know, you can't do that kind of speed on a highway around a connector turn, you know, you can't do it with confidence without knowing who worked on your vehicle very well or doing it yourself. And I only had one person in my life that I trusted that much that I would, if it was this car, I would drive it like that. And that's the only person I ever trusted in my life that much. And I just started working on my own vehicle. We're still friends. It's nothing. And he's a great mechanic. He's a master mechanic. He's a licensed master mechanic. He actually taught me a lot of stuff. And if I get in a jam, I call him and he'll help me out. But I just do my own stuff now, which he didn't know why I didn't do my own stuff in the first place, because I worked too much to do it back then. But anyways, let me shut up and get back to work. You guys don't want to hear me running my mouth. I'm going to try to show you some more stuff on this car. out. Alright. I'm gonna let me grab my sockets. I think I'm gonna need a deep socket for that. I don't think I brought any out. Yeah, well, I'm gonna see if one of these can get to it. Otherwise, I may have to take a brief recess because I didn't bring out any small open-end wrenches because I didn't plan on needing any. Oh, I got some sockets out here. Never mind. Let me. I think that's a 10 millimeter. 10 deep. Find the rest of these sockets and put this kit back together. No, of course I don't. Why would I? I had some sockets from this set in this bag that I brought out to put away. One of these bags. This one. I might have a 10 deep 1/4 inch, which is all I would need. Is this my 10? Oh, that's an 8. 7. That's it. I got my 3/8 at 10. That's my electrical ratchet. Hopefully you guys can see me alright. I had the headlight on, which is usually what I do when I'm underneath the car, but it's gonna be glaring in your face every time I look at the camera, so that's not gonna be very nice of me, or nice for you guys to see. Are these a 10? Yeah, they are. I thought I remembered them being a 10. So I'm not 100%, but I guess I'll find out. But I think this heat shield either goes over the drive shaft on the new one, or it doesn't go on at all because it's one straight piece. This has a universal joint in the middle and it's 2 pieces. So I'll show you in a second when it comes down. Actually have to, I don't know for sure what it is yet, but I have to do either a CP3 pump or either a CP3 or injectors on my Denali Duramax. I'm not sure which it is. I already tried the fuel sensor and I tried a bunch of stuff. I'm trying to do research on it, but right now I'm focused on the car because I can probably still drive this for a little bit this year, so I'd like to be able to enjoy it. Still have my other truck, so I don't need the truck desperately right now. I would like to have it on the road, but especially without this car, I'm just driving my work truck right now, or my girl's car, but I don't like to drive her car. Freaking Honda CRV, for Christ's sake. No offense if anybody drives a Honda CRV, it's just not my style. Okay. Right, that's either a 50 or a 55 Torx. Excuse me. That's great. Well, how did I know I took those out because I know I needed them. Shit. Oh, they are here. Well, let's see if it's a 50. I don't think I had a 55. It was off of the rack, so it must be down there. That's probably the one it is. That's probably why. We'll see. Nope, it's a 50. Okay, good. Of course, these catalytic converters are going to be in my... I don't want to have to disconnect that, too. I probably don't have to. I think I can get in there. I'll just use an extension on the universal. But those are 3/8 drive. Let me see what I can get to with this. These are going to be on there real tight. These are Loctited, too. Might have to get a heat gun. The view for you guys. It's pretty wide. I could always hook that up here if it gets to be a crappy view. I'll keep taking a look. So I'm just disconnecting the front differential, which, oh damn it, I'm gonna need a pipe wrench too. I need a pipe wrench to keep the differential in place because it's not hooked up to anything. I think I did bring one out here because I kind of, yeah, I did. Kind of anticipated that. I did have to do this last time on one side of it because the other side was actually hooked to something, but I only have to take one side off this time. Is it? I'm grabbing the boot, right? Yeah, that's not. No, actually, it's turning. I don't think it was tight enough. Bitch. I need an extension for this. I need an extension. Hold on. I'll be right back, guys. I'm going to grab my right angle 3/8 impact and a 3/8 extension. I'll be right back. So I had this stuff in my truck. I'm just hoping I have a 3/8 extension down here, out here somewhere. Might be one in this bag or in one of these cases out here. I think this is mostly 1/4 inch. And I put my cat's paws in here. Yeah, the rest is 1/4 inch. There's a 3/8 universal, but there's no 3/8 extensions, 1/4 inch extensions. Alright. Should be in there, but there's this and out of it. What the fuck? don't even have a 1/2 to 3/8 reducer, which would be ideal because I have everything at 1/2 inch because I knew most of the bolts for this are big. All right, so I'm gonna pause this, guys. I'll make another section of it. I'll come back with the rest. I gotta get a couple other tools. I brought out all the tools I need for this whole job, other than, you know, a couple odds and ends that I'm gonna find at the last minute. I'll leave them in the car during the weekend until I get the rest of the parts, because I'll just have to bring everything back out anyway, and I'm not doing anything else with it this weekend. I'm not doing anything this weekend. But I'm gonna take the other tire off and get the drive shaft mounted in the front tonight, and then I'll call it quits. And then I'll take the axles out and drop the rear subframe and suspension and all that when I go to put everything else in, because I only want to get involved in that one time. I want to do it and finish it. I want to get the differential up. I want to get everything off, get the bracket on the differential, get the lockouts in, and the axle boots on. I'll bring those down into the shop and get those done, and then I'll put the axles back into the drive shaft and put the rear subframe and suspension back together, and see if I have to re-weld that cross member or not. All right, I'll be back momentarily, guys. Okay, guys, that was quick. I brought the 3/8 extension just in case, but I brought a 1/2 inch to 3/8 adapter because that's my best bet, because it's up on an angle in there, and I already have the universal joint for the 1/2 inch. So as far as tools that you need for something like this, if anybody's doing something similar, this is, I brought out swivel sockets, a universal joint just in case you need it between extensions, but swivel sockets are key for really any automotive job, honestly. But so swivel sockets, an impact, a big impact, and this is the Milwaukee's smaller 18 volt impact, but I have the big one over there that I took the tires and the axle nuts off with. You do need the big one for some of the you know, more heavily torqued bolts, because that one is I think it's like 500 foot-pounds of torque. The big one is 1500. So this sucker right here, and this is for the axle nuts. It's a big boy. Can you see it? Where are we? Yeah, this. So this is a badass impact. This has got way more power than any pneumatic. I mean, I have pneumatic impacts and air outside. I don't use them because they're not as powerful as that. Honestly, I put lug nuts on, you can't even take them off with a pneumatic from that gun. So I need my 1/2 inch universal. All right, and make sure you use a heavy duty, like, you know, a 1/2 inch universal like this, an impact universal. This is an impact rated universal. The black parts usually, or the impact, let's see, the black parts are usually the impact rated ones. So this is an impact rated universal joint. I'm gonna bring you guys over here so you can have a little better view. I'm gonna bring you right over there with me. This hook thing has come in handy. All right, I'm gonna try it with this and hopefully it works. Otherwise I'm gonna have to bring the big boy. So I'm gonna take my long extension, put that on here, and then the universal is gonna go between that and the short one, and then it's gonna go to the adapter to the T50. Big boy it is. Alright. Can't handle this bolt. These are torqued to a high specification, and that Loctite is no joke. These bolts I have new ones for, but I'm gonna throw them in the magnet bin anyway, magnet tray. Need the pipe wrench with this gun. I've tried DeWalt for these, and I like DeWalt for certain tools. If you guys have watched some of my videos, you probably heard me say I'm a contractor. I do HVAC, property management, I'm a landlord, all that kind of stuff. So I have a lot of tools, but so certain things, DeWalt, like the 60 volt stuff they make, certain things are better than Milwaukee. For example, their worm drive saw. Their worm drive saw is better. I bought a Milwaukee 18 volt worm drive. I returned it because it was choking on pressure treated wood, and the DeWalt was less expensive with a battery, and it does not choke on pressure treated wood. So certain things, or the stud and joist drill compared to the whole hog, it blows it away. So I have almost everything Milwaukee, but certain things I stuck with DeWalt because they made a better tool. That's honestly where my loyalty lies in most situations, is with the best product. Similar to the 3D printers I recently reviewed. One more? Is that the last one? Yeah, it is. It was quick. A little too far. Go. That's that. Alright. So, as you can see, it's a two-part differential. Here's the universal joint in the middle. Let's come over here and get some light. Oops, sorry about that. So, here we go. So now you can see it's a two-part universal joint. I mean, it's a two-part drive shaft with a universal joint. So that's the universal joint. This is only, I think this part's maybe 2.5 and this is 2 inches. When you see the 4-inch compared to it, my Dodge Ram Cummins is only a 5-inch, and my my Denali Heavy Duty Duramax is a 6-inch drive shaft. So that's almost big enough to be on a heavy duty diesel truck that with a 30,000+ pound towing capacity. So it's a pretty heavy duty drive shaft. Okay. So yeah, transmission's intact, everything's good up here. Yeah, my shifter's good. Everything else seems to be okay up here. I did not want to have to open this thing again. The transmission was an okay job to do one time, and I did the flywheel, I did the pilot bearing, I did the slave cylinder, but it's to do it twice on the same car back to back right after you put it in, it was so frustrating. That's probably why I didn't do all this other stuff then, because I was so frustrated from doing that. But like I said, I'm not going to take the axles out right now. I'm not going to go too much further. I'm going to take out these brackets that are broken from the differential. I'm going to disconnect those. see what bolts I'm missing, because that one snapped. So I can't reuse. Oh, well, my new differential should probably be coming with that, I would think. So we'll see how that goes. Hopefully it is going to. So this is the bolts that I'm talking about. The light's kind of too bright. Let's see. So right here, all right, right here. No, you can't see it. Right there. It's right above this axle. Here. That bolt right there. This. That's got to come down, and that also holds the subframe. Does it? No, I'm sorry. It goes into the subframe. The subframe bolts are. Where are the Is that a subframe bolt? It's not. No, that's not. I just had. Oh, I know where they are. There's a. You get to it through here. There's one right up here. Yeah, they're right there, and then there's two in the back. There's 4 big bolts with big washers that release the subframe, the rear subframe. And I'm definitely going to have to do that in another part of this video when I get to the rest of this. I needed to get this stuff out, and I wanted to at least make some progress so that when the parts come in, I'm a little further ahead on it. But also, more than that, I wanted to see what other parts I need to order so that I have everything I need when I start this endeavor. All right, now we got 15 swivel. I believe that's a 15. Where's my? I just was using it. Oh, there's a 13. It was on the extension before I took that. There it is. Okay, let's see if that's the right size. It looks like a 15. Yeah, it's a 15. Okay. Bent as hell. It's not broken, but it's bent to shit. Now it makes sense why I blew the clutch. It definitely makes sense why I blew the clutch. It makes sense why I blew the clutch, and it makes sense why I blew this, because it was too much. The car's too damn powerful for these OEM parts. It's that simple. That's really all there is to it. So now the other bolt is over here, and it's stuck. It broke off, so that piece is stuck in there. So I'll probably have to drill that out for the new mount, or. No, that part I think mounts the same. I think the differential. I don't recall. I haven't actually seen it in person. I just watched a video on it to get an idea what I was doing. And then there's a 21 millimeter bolt back here. Get my 21 millimeter wrench, because the wrench is the only thing you can do it with. Because there's not any room for anything else. So that's back here. Okay. Up there. Okay. Where are we? All right. Let's see, where can I put that? Right there. All right. If you see this one sticking out, that's one of them, and the other one is over here. I'm gonna. Oh, wrong way. I'm gonna try to loosen that, but the piece on the other end is loose because the differential broke off of it. It's a piece of the differential, and that is really takes some leverage. I think I might need to get my long pipe to put to this wrench. I wish I could fit a socket in there. Damn, I wish I could fit an impact in there. There's no way until I drop the subframe. Then I might have to take that out when I drop the subframe, because that's gonna be tough. Maybe a short 21 socket on my breaker bar. That might do it if I have a short 21. Hold on 1 second. Breaker bar. There's my breaker bar. That's right there. And a short 21. So this is a pretty short 21. If this fits, then I should be good, but I don't know for sure that it will. Let's give it a shot. No, you're not gonna get in there, are you fucker? So damn close. Maybe I could get it over it. Hold on. Maybe if I go like this, socket on first, and then try to get the wrench up there. Or get a big pipe wrench and turn it with that. No, the socket ain't even fitting. Shit. Alright. Well, you know, the easiest thing would be to probably just leave it and do it when I drop the rear subframe, because then I'll be able to get to it with an impact, no problem. So the only thing that sucks when I do that is that the car is going to be low, and because I have to lower it so I could jack up, you know, I can catch the subframe with the jack. So I need to, this lift is great, but it's great for certain things. Like I need a full rise lift also. So when I get a single family house with a garage that's going to turn into or that doesn't have a garage, but my requirement for the single family house is that I don't have neighbors, or I don't have neighbors that would be bothered by me making noise, because right now, even though I have a bunch of rental properties, I live in a neighborhood where I rent, first of all, because it doesn't make sense for me not to. I pay $1,400 a month in a neighborhood where my apartment's worth probably $2,000, and I get 3 off-street parking spots, which is unheard of in the city, and I have a 2-car garage. I have on top of the 3 spots, and I have a whole basement, and all the utilities are included. So you can't, I can't beat it. My tenants I don't have any tenants that pay even close to that. I don't have any tenants that are under $1,800. So for me to lose $1,800 a month is just stupid to live in my own houses. And you know, so I rent, but I do want to get a single family house, and I've been looking, but the parameters I'm giving the real estate agent are like 7 to 9 acres, or at least minimum 5 to 9 or 10 acres, and with partially zoned commercial or industrial and partially residential. And I did find exactly what I wanted with everything built. A guy had a 3 14-foot bay garage with a loft and a big office area. It was like a 3,000 to 3,500 square foot building that was for his landscaping business. And there was 2 houses. There was one out by the road it was kind of a main road, but in a little town nearby, that my fiance happened to grow up in, and didn't want to move there because of that, because she didn't want our kids to go to school the way she did, going to 2 different towns going to the same school, because it's such a small town. And you know, happy wife, happy life. So I didn't fight it, but I regret not buying that property, because I would have rented out one house. The back house was almost 3,000 square feet, and then I would have had a 3,500 square foot, you know, place that I could pull into. Like, I have a lot of space here, but I can't pull a car into it, you know. Then again, I wouldn't be able to put a shooting range that's 50 yards in that building either. But I would probably still use a lot of the space here. I would rather rent it out, rent most of it out, but I would probably end up using some of it still. Alright, so what I think that's about it for stuff I can remove until I lower the subframe, because that one is up even higher than this. Let me give it one more shot with this wrench. Jesus Christ. Oh, there we go. Oh, shit. You know, I remember when I first started doing these videos, there was a couple of guys that had something to say about my hands being all black, and they thought I was like handling lead all the time because I was doing a video about making bullets, about making, you know, casting and pressing slugs for the air gun. And I was like, dude, you guys realize I'm an EPA lead safe certified firm, and I've had to take all the lead classes and all that kind of stuff. And I'm like, this is not the only thing I do is press air gun slugs. What do you think, I press these fucking things all day? Excuse my language, but do you think I have all day to sit here and press air gun slugs? I just don't. I have a business to run. I have a, you know, a life to build. I can't have fun all the time. And they had some smart ass comment. I don't know why people go on YouTube just to like criticize other people. The only comments I've ever left were compliments or you know, like friendly constructive criticism, if there was any criticism. But people just, misery loves company, as they say. But honestly, the reason I started doing these videos is because I felt like all the stuff that I learned on YouTube, because every time I did a job like this, for instance, when I used to not be able to do this on my own, the first time I did, you know, some of the work on the diesel trucks especially, because I've been working on gas cars since I was a kid, but at the diesel trucks I didn't know a lot about when I first got my first one. So I learned a lot on YouTube, and it's like I'm taking all this knowledge, right? And it's like being selfish. Like, I'm going to take all the knowledge and I'm not going to give anything back to you guys. That's pretty fucked up. So I started feeling like I was being selfish, and it wasn't even because a lot of friends of mine had been telling me that I should do it, because they know how much stuff that I do. And you know, I mean, if I had started doing this years ago, I would have had so much stuff to put on there. I would have had so many, there would be thousands of videos, because I'm always getting into something. But a lot of friends of mine told me that I should do it, have been telling me for years, because they see all the stuff that I do. And I didn't do it because I'm just not the kind of guy that likes publicity. That I don't even use I have a Facebook, but I don't go on it or write anything on it. Like, I don't think I've posted anything since I got engaged 5 years ago. You know, and I'm not that type of person. I like to stay to myself, and I have for a long time. But I started doing them, and then when people started giving good feedback, I kept doing them. And if people don't like them and I'm not helping anybody, then there's no point in doing it. So I'm not going to spend money on video equipment and audio equipment and take the time to edit videos and take video, you know, set up cameras and all that kind of stuff. I won't do it if it's not working, if it's not helping anybody. But it has been since I started doing it, so that's why I'm still doing it. Anyways, I'm going to shut the hell up and get back to the car. I'm going to get the drive shaft and bring it out here and see what my clearance issues are going to be with the exhaust, because it says right on the drive shaft that there's known clearance issues in one particular part, which is kind of near the back here, which must be where the X pipe splits. So I'm not sure what I need to do. Excuse me, what I need to do about that, or what I'm going to do. Excuse me about that. But I'm also not going to know the exact position of the drive shaft until I put the rear differential in. But I want to have it in the front, because when I put the rear differential in, I'm probably going to have to, there's probably one of the 3 people that I talked to on Facebook, and it's the guy that I bought my air gun from, my Scout. The other one is the one that hooked me up with the guy who sold me the Raw. That's literally, I talked to about 2 people on Facebook, and that's the 2. I mean, there's a lot of other people on my Facebook, but I don't actually communicate with them. I don't Facebook communicate much. I'd rather talk on the phone really than anything, but I'll text. Anyways, I'm gonna grab the drive shaft and the new bolts. I'm gonna put that in, and then I'm gonna put my tools in the trunk of the car and leave those for next week, and I will start the video up back again next week. I'll start it up again when I bring the drive shaft out. I'm gonna pause it for a minute, and I'll put the drive shaft in and show you guys that, and then when I come back after that segment, I will be putting in the differential and putting on the drive shaft, the axle boots. I may actually take the axles out and all that stuff and bring the axles inside, and then I'll just show you guys everything going back together. Well, maybe somebody needs to see it coming apart too. So if you got to change the rear end suspension or handling components in the rear end of this car, it's a pain in the ass. You know, most of them need the subframe lowered, and that process I probably should record, so I'll probably record that. I'll record parts of it anyways, the important stuff, like what bolts to disconnect, how to lower it, and then I'll just do the rest, and then I'll record. But alrighty guys, I'm back. What's going on? So I'm gonna show you the new drive shaft that's gonna go in this car. I'm gonna turn this that way. There we go. And face it over there. Okay, drive shaft is coming up, and we got Loctite and new bolts. So these are the new bolts that come with the drive shaft, and this is a brand new of my favorite Loctite 277. It's what I love to use. It's the strongest stuff around. You're not going to find better stuff. And these are some good ARP bolts. And these are, let's see, these have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, that's 8, that's the back. The front has 6, and then the clamps that go on them, every 2 of them. So, and then I'll show you the drive shaft in a minute. So these are different. Yeah, the other ones were T55, and these look like they're 10mm hex. I prefer the hex over a T-bit. The T's are at that size, they're pretty good. They don't really strip, but at this size, I mean, they did strip a little bit. They didn't strip, but they did loosen a little bit. I did throw in my large hex bits, but you know, Allen bits, but they're very large. I don't know if I have one small enough for this. So let's check. Yeah, the smallest I have on here is a 9, and I have all the way up to 17. Here we go. All right, let's see what we got. They're an 8. Of course they are. Okay, so I'm gonna have to run down in my shop real quick and grab an 8mm. And then I'm probably gonna move the camera up a little further so you guys can see. I'm gonna connect it. But let me show you the drive shaft real quick, and then I'll take a break and I'll go grab the other one, and then I'll come back and make another segment. This one will be brief. I'm kidding. It's aluminum. It is big as hell, but it's also aluminum as hell. See? Oof. Okay. All right. So that's gonna have to go up over that cross member and exhaust. But I'm gonna go get the 8mm first because I'm gonna need to start a couple bolts. So I will be back in just a moment. All right, guys, I'm back. So, oh, I forgot to move the camera. I think I'm gonna move it up a little bit. So, I got my torque specs while I had you on hold while I had the video off for a minute. I'm just gonna take this bracket and find another spot for it, and bring you up there a little bit so you can see what I'm doing. I can probably put it over here somewhere and move this around. So now I have the 8mm, but I have a 3/8 drive. That size is usually, you know, 9 and up. Comes in 1/2 inch. It doesn't usually, of course, my light's dying. I have another one. It doesn't usually come in 1/2 inch drive, which kind of sucks. Because then I have to use a reducer from the 1/2 inch, which is fine. That's what I was doing before, but I was hoping that the new bolts I wouldn't have to do that. But I do, so it is what it is. I'm doing it. Let's just put it around this. Sorry about this, guys. I probably should have done this before I started the video, but you know how I am. I keep it real. If you watch any of my videos, it's as real as it gets. And some people seem to like that. I don't know if the others just don't comment or what, but the people who have commented seem to like the fact that it's as real as it is, and it's really real because it's no bullshit. I don't mess around. I just show you what I'm actually doing, and this is the way my shop really looks. I don't draw down the white curtain and put on a show. I just show you what I'm really actually doing. So there's no fluff. No fluff with me. Alright, we got our Loctite, got our impact and torque wrench. So these are 72 foot-pounds up front and in the back at the transmission connection, as well as the differential connection when I get the differential. This will be a two-part video, obviously, as I don't have the remaining parts, the bracket and the lockouts and the rear differential. But it'll only be a few days before I have that stuff, and I'll do it as soon as I get it, like I always do. And I'll put the second part of the video up right after I do it. So I'm going to Loctite one of these, so it's ready. So this stuff is really heavy duty Loctite, so I just put a row like this. I just put one straight row down the bolt, because as you thread it in, it's just going to make its way around. But you don't want to overdo it. You don't want to go all over the whole bolt with 277 red Loctite. It's really strong stuff. So I'm going to leave that, well, somewhere that it won't roll. Alright, now this is going to go up in here. Thankfully it's not very heavy, because doing it by myself would be a real pain in the ass. Alright, we're going to put the smooth side out. Put this through there. Alright. And then I'm going to put one through the hole and guide it in. Okay. Son of a bitch. I had it lined up. I can't see now. It would be nice to have somebody in the back. I should have had somebody come by here. Grab this. son of a bitch, that ain't gonna work. Alright, I'm gonna have to take this 8mm and put it on an extension so I can just start it. And then I'll put it back on the impact once I get these bolts started, because this is kind of a pain in the ass. Come on, dude, what the fuck? I gotta start on the bottom. This thing is light, but it's awkward. Flour. You're not going to, you son of a bitch. Once I get the first bolt in, the rest will be easy. Well, in comparison. They should actually be easy once I get one in. I'm going to try to go on that side, actually. That's pretty darn close. Fuck. It was. There we go. I think I got it now. Shit. Of course, the impact's not ready. No, I don't think I'm getting it. You just hold it with your head, that's all. Maybe I should ratchet strap it up. Let me get this impact. I'm going to try to just stick it up there without the universal for a minute. That's not even in, you fuck. God damn it. Oh, what a fucking ball breaker. You go right there where I can see. Oh. I think that's it. Okay, that's started. Alright. Now I can get the rest started. See, it's a lot of fun. I don't know how well you guys can see because I can't see all that well myself. But there we go. Alright. Now I'm going to Loctite the next bolt. Now this goes in that same, these little clamps go through 2 bolts. So every other bolt, they interlock with the previous bolt. So now that I'm in with the first one, I'm going to use this. And I'll be able to get much better access all the way around with the universal. So see, now it should be a lot easier. Snug up that first one. This fucking thing turn. No, that's pretty tight. Let's tighten up the first one and then I can just torque them down. Okay. 4 more and then I'll torque them down. And then I'm going to wrap this stuff up. Yes, fucking might lose the other one. And then I'm going to wrap this up until Monday when the rest of my parts are ready. And that will be part 2. Maybe the headlight won't be good. I'm going to bring this light too. But since I can't really look at the camera anyways, it might be alright. Let's see. So I'll wrap this around the exhaust. Shine it up there. Try to anyway. I'll turn those on too. There we go. And I'll use the headlight. Alright, now I can see much better. Yeah, you guys can probably see much better too. Alright, so it's just the same thing, a couple more times. You know, 2 more and 2 more for 6 up front, and there'll be 8 on the back with the differential. That'll be a longer segment because this part 2 will be longer because there's a lot more to do. I didn't have enough parts to do more than what I'm doing right now. But at least I know what other parts I need to order and or go pick up or whatever I end up doing, and that will definitely save me time on the next one because I won't have to stop and go get parts. So I looked at the damage before, but I knew I had to order the differential, the Driveshaft, and I know I needed to support the Driveshaft better this time because the car's too damn powerful for anything OEM, obviously, because I keep breaking it all. The whole drivetrain, other than the motor, which I've heavily modified the motor, is now aftermarket once I'm done with this job. The clutch, well, other than the transmission, but the transmission, it's a Tremec 6060. They can hold. People buy those for a build like this. So Dodge did right on the tranny, and they actually had a factory double disc clutch, believe it or not. But it was, you know, ceramic or organic, probably more likely. I bought a double disc metallic. Yeah, these bolts are much better than the other ones, for sure. So when I'm done, I'm going to strap this up because I'm not going to leave it hanging on that universal joint, obviously. I'm just wondering when the differential goes back in. Ow, fuck. God damn it. See, that's what I didn't want, was a light in your face every time I look at the camera. But when I put this in, the differential is kind of, well, yeah, it should be interesting to see exactly how everything's going to line up. But, okay, 2 more bolts. And 1 more bracket. Let's just Loctite both of these bolts right now. Well, I got it flowing. This stuff isn't cheap either. Even on Amazon, a bottle like this is like $40. You buy it at the auto parts store. I mean, I have a company discount, but I've never actually bought Loctite there. I've seen it, and they have the red Loctite. They don't sell $277. You can't buy it not in the average parts store. But the the 244 or whatever else they had was like $10 for a tiny little tube. So it's I can only imagine what they would charge for this if they had it. Snug those up, and then I'm going to torque them all to 72 foot-pounds. Torque wrench, put the Loctite away, it closes on there, cap. Oh, this is an actual 3/8 torque wrench. I have a half and a 3/8 separate torque wrenches. I actually have like 4 torque wrenches, but I just try to use the right size because any adapters throw off the torque. Oh, this is going to be fun. I'm gonna need that pipe wrench. Son of a bitch, this is gonna be harder than tightening them, getting them in. You know what? I think I'm gonna strap it up, and then I can hold the small section at the front with a pipe wrench, or I'll just go get a big pipe wrench. Let me get the strap. And we'll strap this up across here from something. I'm not going to use the fuel lines. We can go right from here to there. That's perfect. All right. Here to here. Be too short of a space. Let's see. Yep, that's too short. Alright, I need something further away for the other side. I guess I'm gonna go back here. That'll work. Okay. There we go. Beautiful. Okay, it's not gonna land there when I put in the differential, because the differential is going to be right about where the camera is. So let me bring it back enough to show you what I mean. So you see the 2 axles right here? It's going to end up being right about there. Those are almost where they're going to be. It's going to be a little further back, almost kind of where the back of it will be where the camera is now. So that's going to have to go down, obviously, to go to it. And then the exhaust that's where they're talking about the exhaust. They literally have a label right where it's supposed to be a challenge, where it's known to be a spot where it hits. So that should be fun. Where's my pipe wrench? There we go. So I have to fight myself to torque this down. Maybe I don't have to fight myself too hard, because if I put this on here and let it hit the wall when I start torquing it, that'll probably hold itself. Well, maybe I'll let it hit the exhaust. No, because then I can't reach the ball. Let's see. Get it in here. There we go. It's starting to rain. I didn't know it was going to rain today. Here I am saying, alright, and it's just falling off, giving me a hard time. Oh no, actually not. I gotta go from the other side. That was stupid. Well, actually that'll be easier, but oh yeah, that'll work better. That's good. A whole lot of room. I need that 3/8. Shit, I didn't want to have to use an extension because that affects anything you add other than just the socket affects the torque rating, the accuracy. Make sure all my power tools are in here. See, it's not the nicest digs in the world in here, but it's dry and it's warm in the winter. I got a big 80,000 BTU heater in here, so could be worse. I know there's a formula to add. I don't know what it is off the top of my head, but there's a formula to add for different kinds of extensions and whatnot when you add them as you're doing this. Okay. I got plenty of room. That's not saying. Okay. That's great. Come on, dude. You just gotta give me a hard time any chance you get. Dude, really? Son of a fucking bitch on chin. You're a motherfucker. Get your ass on there. This surface of this thing is so smooth, it doesn't want to even grab it. Literally get that is a pipe wrench not grabbing it. That is so. I don't really have the greatest access, honestly. Let me try it from back here. It just wants to slip, dude. This is such a nicely finished surface. It literally won't even bite it. There we go. All right. There we go. Nice. All right. Fucker. I need a fucking universal on this too. I really do not have good access here. I don't want to do a universal on. I need like a really short 3/8 extension, and of course I don't have that. Shit. I mean, I have all different sizes. I just don't have it out here. I'm just gonna keep hitting the fucking exhaust. And shit, I gotta go get that extension. This is never gonna happen like that. This stuff going to put away. I'll be right back. One last segment, guys, but it's almost there. I'm gonna bring a big ass light out here too, so it won't be dark. I'll be right back. Hey guys, so that should be a heck of a lot brighter. Sorry about the intervals there. I think I'll put this up here for me because you guys can probably see it pretty good now. All right. So now I can actually torque these things. Just needed a short extension. All right. 26. No, I have not a lot of space, so this is probably going to be a tedious thing just to torque these. I probably should have taken the cats off. Son of a bitch. I'm going to have to go get a big pipe wrench. I'm pretty sure I need to go get a big pipe wrench, because this thing's going to break my balls. Yeah. That should hold it. No, of course, what I bought with me. Let's try to torque this one. You motherfucker. I'll be right back. My truck's right here. Get a big one. This is definitely, I brought the auto setting pipe wrench, but I also brought a 14-inch. I figured a 28 is probably a little too big. And 18 was my next choice. 'Done that in the first place. Already up to almost 50. Over 50 now. $60, $63, $65. Not getting any further. What the fuck? 64.2. There we go. There we go. All right, 72. Okay. Next one. All right, so that's gonna be that one right there. Put this right back like that, if it'll stay. Now it's starting to rain again. I thought I was going to get to fly my drone. I have a, I build FPVs and fly FPVs too, but I just got my Mavic 3 Sim back from being repaired. It was on a return to home and didn't return to home. and they repaired it for me. Oh man, I'm on the same fucking boat. They repaired it for me, and I just got it back, and I've been dying to fly it. But I flew it once when I first got it, but I haven't flown it again since. This sucks going one click at a time. I got no room up there. 63. But these are important to get it to torque spec. Like I said, this is why I can feel comfortable driving the way I do. Bit more. I did those two. Now I got to do these two right there. Let's do this one first. That one is pretty good. This is already at 63. Got it. Alright. Now we're going to do that one that was right next to it. And then we got two more and I'm done. Oh, that one's kind of loose. .6. Still 70.6. .7 up. A little more. Two and a half. 65. 68. 70. 75.6. I'm a little hard on that last pull. Alright. Right. And this one, and then two more, and I'm done. Unless I miscounted, I might have already done them, but I'd rather double check. There we go, that's that. Next one. Okay, go this one and one more. This one don't want to come off now. I'll play French. Alright. Now it does. Now it wants to slip when I need it not to. There we go. Alright, one more. Such a fuck. Come on, bro, what the fuck? You've been catching all this time. The last bolt, you want to break my balls? What the fuck? That one I need too, fuck. There we go. Alright, that's it, all torqued. Alright, so my drive shaft is installed up to, you know, from the transmission. So when I come back in the next segment, what I'm going to do is, obviously, I'm good up here. I'm not going to take the cats out. I got this far without taking them out. The back end, you guys will see, is kind of a pain in the ass. Taking everything, you have to take, you know, to lower down the rear subframe and all that is kind of challenging. So I'm gonna make the video. I was gonna just start taking it apart and then start the video, but I'm gonna try to do some segments of the important stuff, like what bolts I'm taking apart, how I got the stuff apart, how it was originally. So if you guys have to do some of this stuff to your Dodge Challenger, you'll know what to expect. Because anything like, I think 15 to current is all the same as far as you know, any SRT, any scat pack or 6.4s or 6.2s. The 5.7s and RTs, I'm not really sure if they're, I think probably some of the suspension stuff is going to be the same, and maybe not the same parts but the same fitment. But I know there's a lot of stuff that's different, because that's how Summit Racing screwed up my parts. They sent me 5.7 liter parts, and they were like the flywheel for a 5.7, nothing alike. So they're definitely very different as far as internal parts. But superficial parts, like, I mean, I don't think they have the Brembo brakes either. The brakes are probably even different. But the suspension might be like the same platform, the same control arms and the same stuff like that. So the subframe, you would have to do the same thing if it's the same setup on those, to change any suspension components, sway bar, end links, that kind of stuff. So, and that's all gonna have to come off and go back on again for me to do this. So you guys will see how to do it. If you had to change like your trailing arms, for a car like this, I did that for wheel hop. I mean, I was doing all the steering and suspension components anyway, and I had already done the whole front end, and I decided to, you know, try to get rid of the wheel hop in the back, because this car doesn't want to stick to the ground on a hot summer day. Even with those 12.5-inch wide tires those are drag radials, and I mean, in the rain it sucks. You're slipping everywhere. It's still kind of fun, but it's dangerous. But in the even in the heat with sticky, unless you do a burnout, you're not really sticking when you take off. But that's why it had enough power to rip that differential apart. I think with the organic double disc clutch, that's why it didn't break before, because that's not gonna, the full metallic double disc clutch is not having any give. You know what I mean? When it puts out that power, it's putting it all to the street. Like, you're not having any play in the clutch. And there was probably some play with the organic, because it's gonna grab, but it's not gonna grab as aggressively. This thing grabs really aggressive. It's a lot better now than when I first got it. I kind of had to baby it for a while. But baby it for me means, like, you know, probably other people driving crazy, but the way I drive, I mean, I'll once I get this car done, I'll bring you guys with me for a ride. I'll let you see how the car drives, and I'll put the camera somewhere where you can see, like, the dash and the speedometer, because I don't look at it when I'm driving, not very often. I usually am looking at the road, because I drive this thing like I stole it, for real. You'll see. I'll take you for a ride. Do 150, 160 on 91. But anyways, and that's that. But that's why I take the extra time to make sure that every bolt's torqued, and that they all have, like, the strongest Loctite. And, you know, if those bolts had to be heated, if I had to heat that stuff before I could get it off, I've had to do it before with this Loctite, and I'm good with that. I'm fine with that when I change the parts. I might get frustrated about it at the time, but overall, I would rather have that than the alternative, because if it's not done right, then, you know, it's your own ass and whoever you have in the car with you and whoever else is on the road. So, you know, yes, I drive fast, but I don't drive recklessly, and I take care of my car. You know what I mean? I make sure that my car's safe to be on the road. It's safe to be driving at those speeds. I mean, I have tires that are rated for 208 miles an hour. I mean, everything I have done to the car is specifically for it to be able to be like a 200+ mile an hour car, and for it to, you know, it does 0 to 60 in 3.4 seconds. So it's a really fast car. It's getting faster and faster. So once I'm done with this stuff, my whole drivetrain is done, and then I'm gonna do the engine swap. I'm gonna do a 426 stroked motor with a fully forged motor, the fully forged bottom end and pistons and rods and all that. And then I'm gonna do the top end. Over the winter, I'm gonna do that. I'll make videos on that. I was gonna do the clutch first, but I had to do all this stuff in the wrong time of year for me. But it is what it is. It's almost done now. So I'll take the top end off. I'm not doing the bottom end. I'm swapping. I'm buying a stroked out. I'm not gonna mess with trying to bore out the motor. I'm sending that. You buy a new motor, and they give you, like, I think it's like $8 grand, and then you get like almost 3,000 back, so for your motor. So then they bore it out and sell it again, and they change all the parts. You know, like the bottom end gets swapped, the heads get bored out, and then the top end, what I'm going to do is get new lifters and springs, and I'm gonna machine my own top end, you know, my own valve, you know, my valve cover. I'm gonna machine that out of a big block of aluminum on the CNC, and I'm gonna design my own and I'm gonna make it nice. So, and then I'll probably powder coat it, I'm thinking, rather than anodize. Maybe I'll anodize it. I'm not, because anodizing gets so easily scratched, And in a car, that's a stupid thing to me. Even on guns, all my air guns and all my real guns. I mean, this where's my Glock? It's pretty. This is pretty new. So this one's not too bad. This is actually, I mean, it's the bottom half is plastic anyway, but my other Glock, I have another one inside that's a little more scratched up, but everything that's anodized gets scratched up. So I prefer the powder coat because you bake it on and it lasts a really long time. I didn't even know you guys couldn't see that. This is fairly new. That's why there's no marks on it. It's in pretty great shape. But I haven't had it that long and had it carried around in my waist and all that for multiple years, and firing it and dropping it and whatever when I'm cleaning it and taking it apart. Anyways, I think powder coat's the way to go for that. I need to touch up the paint on my calipers. I'll probably do that while I get everything taken apart. I took my calipers off and sandblasted them and painted them. Did 2 coats of, I do automotive painting too. I did 2 coats of base, 2 coats of primer, 2 coats of base, and 3 coats of clear. And I was antsy to drive the car, and I didn't let it dry long enough, so that's why it's chipping. It's actually a really good paint and really good clear coat, so if I had given it more time, it wouldn't have chipped, and I should have, and obviously I regret it, and I'm paying for it now, but I'll just use the touch-up gun. Anyways, I'm not going to take them all. I'm not even going to disconnect them. I'll just bring it out here and use the touch-up gun, because I don't want to have to bleed these brakes. These 6-piston Brembo brakes are a bitch to bleed. They have 4 bleeders on the front calipers and 2 on the back. They're a pain in the ass to bleed. It's just that simple. So I don't want to have to go through that again. And that's my clutch system too. The clutch and the brakes are on the same pump. So if you don't have brake fluid and your brakes are not bled, you're not going to have a clutch either. So then you may as well just not touch it. So that's what I'm going to do. I'm not going to disconnect them. I'm just going to take them off of the rotors and I'm going to touch them up. I'll just put paper or something behind them. But anyways, that's it. I'm done for now. I'm just going to put my tools in the trunk. I'm going to lower the car, put the tools in the trunk. I'm going to lift it back up and put the locks on. And I'm going to leave it for the weekend. And then Monday, hopefully Monday, if not Monday, Tuesday. But I have a closing on Wednesday for these 2 houses I'm just buying now. So I would like to get it done before then, because once I do that, I have new leases and new tenants and shit that I got to handle. So hopefully I can get it done by Wednesday. Hopefully the parts come in on time, and I know that High Horse Performance sent me all the other stuff, all the brackets and everything, the mount for the bracket for the differential. I got to find out if the new differential's coming with that bolt that broke, or if I'm gonna have to go to Dodge and get bolts, and then I may as well just get the gasket, the exhaust hanger there too, and the CB boots. These are GeForce axles. I'll probably call GeForce Engineering and get them from them. Anyways, guys, I'm gonna wrap it up. This is gonna be the end of part 1, because that's all I can do right now. I'm just gonna wrap it up, and I'm gonna leave the axles like this until I get the rest of the stuff, and then I'll drop the rear subframe. So I will see you guys on the next video, and I will make it interesting, because I'm going to be taking really basically the whole rear end apart. So you guys will definitely see what a challenge the Challenger is. Nope, well, pun intended. All right, have a good day, guys, and see you soon. Later.